I'm just island boy. I'ma get cute white boy. You gonna keep that done. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma get cute white boy. You gonna keep that done. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma get cute white boy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it looks like we are live. Welcome back to another episode of the Mining Market Signal. It's your boy, Seth, Mind Your Biz, and we're here to talk about all things crypto. But tonight in particular, I've got a little gem of a treat, a little treat of a gem. However you'd like to think of that, really, because one serves the other. But we're going to do a tiny bit of gem hunting tonight. I'm extremely excited to bring that up in the lineup. I was unable to carve out time earlier in the day to do a separate video for it. So lucky you can ask questions live while we do some gem hunting. When do you get to do this? Who does this for you? Nobody. And it never happens, right? So let's cherish these special moments. Smash that like button and obviously do whatever you have to do, like physically, to make the subscribe button explode, right? This is always our goal, is we're into destruction of private property, especially if it belongs to YouTube, right? So make that subscribe button explode. Obviously, the comment section is out of control, as per usual. I'm not here to tell you what to say. I'm just here, to witness it. So hit up the chat, guys. You are live, as you can see below me. And let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. We've got a score today of 76. That means that we are solidly into greed still, even with a bit of the pullback in the Bitcoin markets and the rest of the crypto market. Got Tom Crown in the chat saying, hype it up for Mind Your Biz. Tom, good to see you in the chat, brother. We need to do some collabs very, very soon. Bronson is in the house, shilling Shiba Inu, and that's cool. I respect that. Hopefully you got what you needed out of Shiba Inu, because I don't know that I would be able to right now. Guys, if you have questions, as per usual, if you have questions, go ahead and hit those, put those into the live chat. As you can see on the screen, your chat is live, right? I'm not filtering. I'm not asking for super chats to be able to engage with people who are here live during our live stream. Just ask good questions. And then if you have answers, answer those questions with your best answers. As a community, we do more than just one person can do alone, right? So, and 2 heads are better than 1, and 20 heads are better than 2, and 200 heads are better than 20. So do your part, help somebody, and be the mentor that you wish you had when you got started in cryptocurrencies. Jumping right back in, we see that the Fear and Greed Index is at 76. I view this as a counter indicator. Back down to our chart, guys, only a month ago, we knew what extreme fear felt like, and now we're still in extreme greed, even though people are seeing a pullback in cryptocurrencies, especially with Bitcoin, even though it's lost a bit of its dominance, it's lost a bit of its muchness with regards to its place versus the rest of the market. So yeah, this is very interesting to me to see this. I view it as a counter indicator. What does that mean? Well, let me give you first a disclaimer. This is not legal, financial, or business advice, but a counter indicator means that the market is doing something that is meant to tell you to do the opposite if you know what to look for, right? So should we be fearful? No, not fearful per se, but we should be making our plans. And as my friend Crypto Wendio always likes to say, practice risk management and take profit where appropriate and in the ways that you think are appropriate. Taking profit doesn't always mean selling. It doesn't always mean going and getting dirty fiat and pulling all of your crypto out of the system. Sometimes it just means pegging your trades to a stable coin. Sometimes it means changing back over to another coin you have more conviction in. Maybe, Big B over here. There's any number of ways that you can take profit, and you have to decide for yourself how that aligns with your goals. So without giving any kind of advice, I'm just going to say that's what I have conviction is occasionally just taking profit and putting it into projects that I believe more strongly about. For my freelance and my consulting pursuits, I do a blend of cryptocurrency and fiat earnings. And so that pays the bills. Thank goodness. Same with the e-com that I do in my spare time. Like, I've been called the side hustle king. I do have a lot of side hustles going on. Probably need to streamline a little bit. But the point is that I like having the blend of fiat currencies coming in so I can pay bills, and then cryptocurrencies coming in on the side so I can stack those, trade those, and then take profits on those as I see fit. But have a plan, try to work that plan, guys. That's all I'm going to say about that again. But yeah, only a month ago we saw what extreme fear was like. So yeah, this is something to kind of be aware of. We've been riding high on the vapors for a while, and that means that we could precipitously, any number of news pieces, fluff pieces, could shake some of the weak hands out. And if the weak hands are shaken out, it is possible that there is enough of a run downwards, right? That we see a red candle day or we see another wick down really, really fast that causes problem for those of us who maybe even have more conviction. We still have to weather those storms. The Deadwood is in the chat saying, hello, everyone. Hope you had a great day today. Thank you, the Deadwood. Hope you had a great day too, sir. Jesse is in the house as well. Thanks for saying that. Jesse says it's that underrated channel. Appreciate you saying that. I get the sense. I've had a couple of very friendly people say that they want to try to share their audience with me. So I don't know. Maybe these really personal chats are going to, maybe we're going to have some new people in the chat as well. We've got to be prepared to be really good community members to new people as they come in. So, but I believe this person when they say they want to share their community with me. But we'll see. We'll see. We can be that beacon to other people, right? Be the mentor we wish we had. But thank you for saying that. All right, jumping into our main content, guys. We got a little bit of a market overview. We can go into our what to mine numbers. In the interest of time, I'm going to jump straight over to the GPUs tab, and we're going to cut to the chase. Go with just Team Green for right now. Team Green, the 3090 is the top of the stack. That has not changed. Nothing else has been able to touch the RTX 3090, right? It just takes so much performance alpha away from all the rest of the lineup from Team Green. And I don't expect that we're going to see much change there in the near future. Pop that text size up for you guys so you can see it a little bit more easily. Jesse, thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate that. So 3090 is giving us about $8.17 per day on typical 10-cent power rates. So just be aware that we normally factor in more of an average when we do the single card performance that we normally do instead of looking at this stacked ranking. So we normally go for a sort of a worst case scenario, 7-day averages, 14-cent power. Basically, the sort of thing that if you were in a state where you don't have the greatest rate for power, maybe you have access to GPUs, maybe you have access to, the necessary materials that you need to be able to mine, but you don't have ideal conditions, right? How do you get started without thinking like, okay, I got to wait till every light is green before I leave my own driveway? Like that's not a way to do anything, right? So that's why we mine those averages. That's why we take a look at those averages, is to try to figure out like, how do we really factor in possible worst case scenarios? And then how do we pay ourselves, right? As miners, how do we make sure that our time is honored so that we're not like, after doing all the math, figuring out like, oh, wait a second, after all my profits in mining, I actually earned like $1 an hour. Because that's totally possible to do with GPU mining because you put in so much time just building machines and fixing stuff. So that's why I looking at the worst case scenarios and factoring that in, guys. If we're not making profit on our own time, why are we even doing this? There may be other ways to get our crypto. So RTX 3090 still top of the stack, even at 10-cent power there. So a little bit lower, doing really, really well. 3080 Ti, and as you see on and on down the list. Notable coins that are doing well, that are in the money, in the profit. Got Ethereum. And we still got Equilibria showing up. I still think that this is a false positive. Seeing Equilibria show up on these mining charts, I would not go there personally. I haven't gone there personally. My rigs have stayed on Ethereum. Even the rigs that were on Flux network before are now on Ethereum. Just what I'm doing, okay? So yeah, that's a bit of an issue there. Nice hash, my feelings on that. For my part, I say just say no. If you want to sell your hash rate, you want to rent out your machine to somebody else, in my opinion, a better way to go, a more ethical way to go, a way to go that's a little more clear for your conscience and sometimes more profitable is miningrigrentals.com. There's a link to that down in the description of this video if you're not familiar with that service. But you can rent your hash rate to somebody else and you can know your customer, right? You can actually get a sense for who you're renting to. And if you don't like giving them service, a bit like, say, driving for Uber or riding in Uber, you can just say this isn't a good match and you can choose not to work with them again. It's really that simple. I really like their model a little more than some of the others. Some Goblin Loser is in the chat, says, hey-yo, and the Deadwood says, KCS has a smile on my face today. Appreciate that, guys. Thanks for sharing that. And some Goblin Loser, always great to see in the chat. Guys, this is our Team Green. Go down to the very bottom of the list. 1050 Ti is still in the money. This is an ancient card that only sips about 75 watts, and they say right here on Kryptonite GPU, it's about 70 watts. And this guy can run from the PCI Express bus inside of your machine. What does that mean? That means no additional cables have to be run to it. So it's this really old card that's relatively inexpensive that runs just off the power that comes straight out of the motherboard. It's kind of an interesting beast, interesting machine. So it's still in the money, as you can see. From clear back in 2016 is when it launched. Doing 62 cents per day on Equilibria, but then also some reasonable profit on both Zano and Flux, projects that I personally feel pretty good about. I got pretty strong conviction on those two projects. I don't mind talking about those at all day. I would work with those. 1066 gig is second in line. This is a card that also came out, gosh, 5 years ago? A 5-year-old card. And as long as you have the 6 gigabyte model, then you're doing about 22.5 mega hashes per second. I can tell you from personal experience in a rig that I'm running literally right now with these cards, you can do even better than that if you know what you're doing, right? And you can keep the power consumption in line with your expectations there. But I know these have historically been able to do even 24, upwards of 26 mega hashes per second. And then if you're doing any kind of like engineering fluid dunk, you can do even better than that. So we got phenomenal cards on the efficiency side of this chart. And you know I'm going to advocate for efficiency over all else. Because this stuff, it hits really heavy. If you buy just one RTX 3090, you're doing okay. You're getting whatever, $8 and change in profit every single day. But go to the bottom of the list, at 1066 gig, you're getting, well, not that bad. You're getting a little less than a quarter of the daily profit, but you're also spending close to a quarter the power, and you're spending, in some cases, 10% of the purchase price or less, right? So the hash per dollar per watt is really, really high. If you guys remember my charts from 2018, where I broke down the hash per dollar per watt, and I shared that with the entire community, it still holds true. And I didn't make that formula up. That formula was available on Reddit and available on Bitcoin Talk years before I started in the YouTube game. So this is an old formula. It's just sort of understood that you can bring it all the way down to just one value, hash over dollars over to acquire the card over watts consumed. So I'll give you that cheat sheet, guys. And if you want, maybe I can actually make that spreadsheet again in the near future. Not going to do that tonight, but might do a one-off video just for that, make it really, really simple. But that's our team green numbers, guys. Efficiency, in my mind, beats heavy hash rates all day. And I think that was true back with the 1080 Ti versus the 1060 6 gig as well. Radeon 7 tops the list for Team Red, and it's from clear back in August 2017, right? It's a relatively old card. That doesn't track, though. The Radeon 7 was not released in 2017. The Radeon 7 was released at least minimum a year later. So I'm a little bit confused by that. That piece of data is off, but it is still top of the list, and that is accurate at 93 mega hashes per second, possibly higher if you know what you're doing with it, and about $6.81 per day. Ethereum and Ergo are high on the list here. Firo and Ethereum are also high on the list as well. Equilibria is showing up in this list also because of CryptoNight GPU. That algorithm tends to do really, really well. So it's going to make its way into this list. We're just going to see it show up here, guys. That's just part of the game. If you have high performance cards or if you have mid performance cards, CryptoNight GPU is going to show up. And right now, Equilibria is king of the CryptoNight GPU algorithm, right? It's just going to offer you the most daily profit for that. I still think that wherever else possible, you are probably better off working with something if you have higher, thank you. Alex lets us know in the chat that Wikipedia says it was released in February 2019. Thank you. I knew it was at bare minimum. It was late 2018. Thank you for that. And Gordon Murray is in the chat asking, yo, fam, who is mining Firo tonight? That's a phenomenal question, guys. Ruben Yap, if you're in the chat, big ups. You guys have worked really, really hard on this project. So many iterations, so much work, still so little recognition for the Firo project. But it is here, right? It is profitable. All right, guys, we got Callisto, one of those projects, I don't want to say anything negative, but I'm always surprised when I see Callisto show up in these lists. It's not on my short list, but that doesn't mean it's not profitable or that it's a bad option for you. You might have strong conviction about Callisto, and if that's the case, then you do what you feel best about. But Ergo is still on this list also. And then Raven starts to pop up as we have lower memory sizes and slightly different hardware profiles, right? So even the 8 gig Radeon RX 580 or the Polaris edition card is showing Raven as one possible coin you could mine. it's still showing Ethereum at over $2 per day in profit. So for my money, that's where I'm going to put those cards. But down in the 4 gig and below memory size, well, we start seeing some new entrants. Turtle back from the dead. I did not expect to see that, guys. So yeah, Turtle with the Chukwa version 2 algorithm. TurtleCoin, big shout out to TurtleCoin, guys. If you remember back in 2018, I forked the TurtleCoin repository and we spun up some seed nodes. We actually had a functioning fork of TurtleCoin and we called it Canary Coin back in the day because our thinking was, okay, if you can't mine this, that's the canary in the coal mine. We're done. GPU mining is over. And it was just a fun joke. But Rocksteady, wherever you are, I think he's retired from the TurtleCoin project. Super giving with his time. Just super down to earth as far as a community moderator, community manager, helping turn developers, like turn people from just willing participants in a Discord server into developers. The TurtleCoin project basically worked what I would call miracles in this space, as far as taking relatively non-technical people or semi-technical people and then making them technical. So I would love to see that from more projects also. Getting somebody who like maybe hasn't even studied Python and getting them to learn how to make a brand new custom desktop wallet for a project. That's what TurtleCoin did. It's blast from the past, guys. Seeing them right here on this list is taking me back. But there it is for the R9 Fury at the top of the list. There's clearly some error reporting, right? That's what that emoji means here on what to mine. So it could be that this is a false positive showing TurtleCoin on the list in the first place. It's still, for me, I'm tickled to see it there anyway. We got Raven in second place there, clearly with much higher volumes. We don't have a volume filter on this view, but Raven has that trading volume every single day that would allow you to actually mine it and then realize your profits. Same with the 4 gig cards on Polaris Edition. Way back in the R9 380 space, we got Callisto, LASM, and Ethereum Classic. Your ETH hash variants are all going to do pretty well, offering nearly the same amount every single day. So guys, looks like profitability is alive and well. When people ask you, is mining worth it? The answer is yes. When people ask you, is mining on GPUs worth it? My answer is still yes. Why? Because some of these cards are 5 years old. Some of them are older than that, and they are still very clearly in the profit. Going way back to this R9 380, it's from May 2015. That is quite an old card. That is quite an old card. And what they're not showing is the R9 280X, a previously released version of that same chip architecture, or a slightly earlier version of that chip architecture. I think still part of that same family, Hawaiian Islands and such. So yeah, you got these cards that are, they're well over 6 and 7 years old. They're still making money. Explain that. I don't know that you're seeing ASICs that are 6 and 7 years old being run in developed nations on 10-cent power or 14-cent power, still making money. That's only available with GPUs. They tend to hold their purpose, right, a lot longer if they're high performance and or high efficiency. So I think the proof's in the pudding, guys, right there. But let's take a look at TurtleCoin mining really, really fast. I'm so curious. There it is. Got a special page for it. Sandor B is in the house, says sup, and got the Deadwood also chiming in, saying still on ETH while I can. Awesome. Love to see it, guys. Love to see it. I think Ethereum, especially if you're taking those Polygon payouts, guys, I'm going to sound like a broken record for the end of this, through the end of this bull run. I think that Polygon still is one of the best things going as far as scaling for Ethereum. And maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I think that until Pulse Chain launches and has popular support from other projects, it's going to be Polygon all day as far as scaling for Ethereum. The bridges work now, both directions. The low-fee trades work on Polygon now. The trading volume has shown that there's enough to sustain a higher daily trading volume than on Ethereum, the main layer 1 chain right now. And there's so much more going on in the Polygon ecosystem in terms of taking steps towards greater decentralization, being run through a DAO, having Polygon Hermes, right? So proper ZK rollups that are being developed in that ecosystem, and the plasma chain as well, right? Not just the proof of stake chain. They do have a lot going on, and there's a reason that Polygon is being supported by the likes of Coinbase and OpenSea, right? They're not going anywhere, and they haven't had a catastrophic failure like some of their competitors. So you can say till you're blue in the face that optimistic rollups and ZK rollups are the future. That's cool. Polygon is the present. It's right here. It's usable right now. So The future, I think, is great, and having a roadmap is awesome. But if you can deliver something that gives performance and value right now, then I'm using that blockchain today. It's that simple. And that's why I take my payouts on Ethermine over Polygon Network, guys. But yeah, let's jump into our portfolios really, really quickly from bird's eye view. We got GPUs at almost 4.5% up in the last 24 hours, and our total PNL is 34% up since we started this portfolio. Equilibria has taken the number one spot, but it's down over the last 7 days. I don't know how much longer this is going to last, but clearly it performed very well, right? So having put $1,000 on a paper trade from May 26th, it's at $3,400. So it's performed extremely well from that snapshot forward. Flux, not that much worse, $3,300. So shout out to the Flux team, Daniel Kelly, if you're watching, if you're lurking. It's great to see Flux performing well. It's awesome. And the current or recent price action for Flux has it up in the 50-cent range, right? So I think it was all the way up at 58 cents, all-time high for the day, right? That 24-hour, there you go. Yeah, 24-hour pump really had it looking good. It's only just recently started to come back down. So we may still be seeing it try to find its bottom support there. Scrolling down, guys, we're at the break-even point all the way down here at Conceal. A lot of coins are up. A lot of these alts are up. Matic, Etho, Beam, Grin, coins that were not up over the $1,000 mark before are up over now. Way up over now. We got A Rose in the chat saying Richard Hart has severely damaged his reputation by improperly telling millions in multiple live streams that Bitcoin would retrace to 10 to 15K and his projects will likely be punished for a long time. You know, that's a fair point, and we will talk about that another time, and I love seeing you comment on that. But for right now, all I'm going to say is that as outlined, right, as roadmapped, the Pulse Chain project promises to do something that's very similar to what Polygon does right now. And I'm interested to see how they execute, right? There's always a way to optimize. And if they can launch with some optimizations that Polygon is taking some time to roll out, well, they'll have a lot of volume locked, but we'll talk more about that on another stream for sure. Interesting that you commented on that. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Alex has some questions about strong block nodes. Can't get into that tonight, and I apologize for that, but I will take that back. So try to take some notes on some content for this week, guys. I was serious about trying to start live streaming earlier in the day. For me, I'm looking at maybe literally a full flippening, so 11 hours earlier in the day so that I can do this, or maybe just a little bit after that. So I can do this as my kids are out the door for school and I don't skip out on family time with them during the evenings. And I'm not going to tell you a sob story, but right now I'm having a bit of FOMO. Wanted to go play card games or some board games with my kids. And I was like, you know what though? I can't do that to my audience and like without word, just ghost everybody, right? So tonight we're going quick, but I do want to start shifting that schedule earlier so that everybody gets the appropriate time, right? So I want to maintain that commitment to this community, right? And make sure that I bring the best possible content that I can to you, especially right now in the middle of the bull run with these market conditions. We need each other. It's not just me saying like, oh, look what I bring to you. I'm so amazing. I mean, I do in jest or whatever, but realistically, I need your feedback as much as I'm trying to bring good stuff to you, right? Like I want to bring stuff that I have conviction about, but I love getting some of your feedback as well, right? Again, it's not lip service. No man is an island, and two are smarter than one, for sure. And we scale pretty well, as long as we don't act crazy and tribal, right? So this is, for me, it's healing, but I got to make that time for my kids in the evenings too. So expect to see this week me experimenting with some stuff, right? So that's going to be one of those things. And yeah, Philip Kong says, yeah, spend the time with your kids. Absolutely, right? And it's not too late tonight, so I wanted to go live to let you guys know, right? So I'm still going to do that. We got time tonight, thankfully. But I'm not going to be able to do like an hour and a half or 2 hour live stream. So that's why I'm bringing that up. But back into the charts, guys. Biggest loser on this list is TBTC, only because I don't have any kind of transactions in there yet. I will add these. SBTC as well. Why did I add these two? I added these two because we have our wrapped representations of Bitcoin. And why are wrapped representations of Bitcoin in a GPU mineable portfolio? Well, quite simply because DeFi exists. It's really that simple. If you're mining Ethereum, you can quickly go over to Uniswap, and not cheaply, but you can quickly swap that over for wrapped Bitcoin with the ticker symbol WBTC or REN Bitcoin, right? REN BTC, which is a slightly more decentralized version of it. So you can lock your profits into the price action of Bitcoin. It's not the actual native asset. And I know that, and you know that. but wrapped Bitcoin will give you direct exposure to the price movement of Bitcoin. If you prefer Bitcoin's price over Ethereum, further, the smart contracts that have those wrapped Bitcoins locked up, you can work with them to release native Bitcoin back to you, right? So these can be traded for native Bitcoin. If you want direct exposure, right, that I should say this is indirect exposure to the price action, but if you want direct exposure, you can always release the locked Bitcoin in these smart contracts back out to you if that's your preference. So I'm just saying this is permissionless, guys. That's the beauty of DeFi. But wrapped Bitcoin, highly centralized. RenBTC, less centralized. And there's some counterparty risk with those because they lock up actual Bitcoin. TBTC and SBTC are different versions of it. So yeah, these are slightly different versions. They've got slightly different market caps because they have slightly different amounts that are locked in. So But yeah, so SBTC and then TBTC, they're in the tens of millions or hundreds of millions, not quite into the billions that you have locked up in WBTC, or the 1 billion mark that you have locked up in RenBTC. They're smaller projects, but they're different versions of the same idea, right? Locking up value into Bitcoin or getting price parity there. Moving from the GPU mining portfolio, though, guys, let's go over to the hard drive mining portfolio. I apologize that the biggest loser was kind of off there. Our 24-hour change is up 7%. Our total P&L, we're down almost 10%. It is so rough. Limitless Combo gets it, guys. Chimes in and says if it's wrapped, you can use them for DeFi, stake them in other chains, and gain APY for hodling. Yep, guys, DeFi is a game changer. And while I love the native asset Bitcoin, I think that Bitcoin became very interesting when it could be wrapped in DeFi. And it's not even an Ethereum thing. You can get wrapped Bitcoin on Solana, right? You can get wrapped Bitcoin on Avalanche or on Phantom or on Polygon, right? Like even if you can just decide that you hate Ethereum, if that's what floats your boat. You can still have wrapped Bitcoin on other smart contract platforms, and you can enjoy the best of DeFi and the best of Bitcoin's price action with the ability to call in that native asset later on by swapping it out permissionlessly. No centralized exchanges, no centralized third parties for the most part. Some of these tokens, as I mentioned before, are more centralized, but you can do your own research and you can do most of this permissionlessly. It's a beautiful thing. We couldn't have even imagined this quite in this way just a few years ago, right? But here it's a reality. We're covering it on this show. It's easy. It's easy, right? Easy, he says, while they're talking about mining. None of this is that easy, right? It's like, whatever, it's possible. There you go. That's a better word. It's possible. I try to up the honesty factor there. But it's possible, guys. And I love that it's possible. And I can't wait to see even future possibilities there. All right, guys. So we've got our hard drive mineable portfolio. We're down 10%. The above, the treading water line is at storage. MaidSafe coin is still up. And in fact, it just went parabolic again after the most recent run up. The $1,000 we initially put in is not as attractive now as it was before. We're 46% up, but in times like these, we are spoiled. 46% up. That's it? Only 46% up? But my alpha, what am I really getting out of this? We get very, very spoiled in bull runs like this. So 46% up does not look as, it's not as hyperbolic as some of the other stuff that we see. Chia is still our biggest loser, and it's still close to the $150 mark. Despite the upward channel, the upward movement of everything else, it's still in a downward channel. So it is fully decoupled from everything else and maintains its 81% down posture. That's unfortunate. I hope that if you are now currently just slow plotted, like doing your farming on Chia, I hope that you are maintaining your profits and that you are actively taking your profits without giving advice. I hope you are getting your money back out. I really do. I don't want to see people in this chat get wrecked. Okay. So I hope things are going okay for you if you're into Chia, and I wish you the best there. I'm seeing that the native asset is down bad, still down as bad as it's ever been. Moving from hard drive mineable coins into CPU mineable coins. Guys, we've got Raptorium still top of the list, still looking pretty darn attractive. With that $1,000 paper trade in there, we've still got that grown up to $6,800. Epic Cash at $6,600. Yentin at a paltry $1,200. Right? It's only up 28%. But just amazing gains there, guys, for CPU mineable coins. Monero is above its parity, its break-even mark, but everything else is below, with the biggest loser being Wow Narrow, 41% down. Kind of sad to see, but it is decoupling from a lot of the stronger performing fundamental coins, right? Like Monero and others. 24-hour change up 10%, and the total P&L is up 156%. ASIC mineable coins. Here's where we're going to see the native asset, Bitcoin, see how it's performing. Go Mining token is looking okay, but it is in a downward channel right now, downward trend over the last 7 days. Bitcoin is up, right? So $1,600 based on the 1,000 we put in. Our biggest loser, we'll have to take a look at our 24-hour change, down almost 0.5%. Total P&L up almost 8.5% or almost 9%. Biggest loser is Pirate Chain still. It's still struggling to return to its former glory. Devault is in second place, Bytecoin is up, and then Dogecoin still below Monero, but it appears to be rising as well. 7-day numbers look good. Bitcoin Cash I added because I realized that we didn't even have it in its portfolio, but it has struggled to even get back to its break-even point from when we put that $1,000 paper trade in. However, there's a lot of development in that ecosystem. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin ABC, Bitcoin SV. I realize it's an extremely unpopular topic to bring up, but there's a lot of development still happening there. And I wonder if these projects are going to make it through this bull run into the next bear cycle. You tell me in the chat, what do you think? Are these forks of Bitcoin, these earliest contentious forks of Bitcoin, are they going to make it? Are they not going to make it? What's your prediction for them in the next 6 months, in the next year and a half, right? 6 to 18 months. What do you think is going to happen to BCH and BSV? I don't know that I can even hazard a guess, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. So yeah, it's on the list though, because it just makes sense. It can be mined with an ASIC, so it should be there just in case you feel like you want to mine it. FPGA mineable coins are also doing not so great over the last 24 hours. 10.5% down. Total P&L is up 134%. Cadena is dominant. It is destroying right now. Look at that market cap up past the $1 billion mark. Looking so good, so fresh and so clean. $10,000 is what you would have in this portfolio if you put $1,000 into Cadena in late May of this year. That's just sexy AF. I don't know how else to say that, guys. Nimic is still above its break-even mark, but everything else is down bad. 0x Bitcoin is doing massive swings right now. So we've seen this before. Just kind of refuses to die, right? There's some people propping that up and probably making money from it too. We'll I don't know. Not totally sure there. Alex Burton asks, is BCH too big to fail? I don't know if it's too big to fail. I'm not sure, but it is over a $10 billion market cap, so that's worth asking. I think maybe even in a dedicated deep dive video. But moving from this to proof of stake smart contracts, we'll do a quick overview here, guys. Currently, our 24-hour change on proof of stake smart contracts is almost 6.5% up, and total P&L is up by 128% across all these assets and all these platforms. Bojan is in the chat saying hello. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight, hanging out with us tonight. Phantom is up really nicely, $8,300 in that portfolio. Our paper trade was only $1,000, as you remember. Solana, 6,100. 7-day numbers are just looking so sweet, guys. They're gaining in 7 days what some of these other coins have taken months to achieve, as far as the total alpha, right? The total net gain up. Now they're up by 700%, 500%, 250%, 141%. Right? Some of these look really, really good, and it makes the gains in platforms like Wax and Polkadot, which they're very impressive. It makes them look less impressive, right? Where we're just kind of like brainwashed and and spoiled, right? Like not everything is going to give us 600% gains, right? Or 700% gains. Sometimes it's okay to get a conservative 80 to 100% gains in markets like these, and then know when to take some profit and know what to leave in the bag so that you've got more you can just let ride. But that's up to you, right? Like your risk tolerance, your portfolio, your bags, your choice, right? So Ethereum is up 50%, almost looking pretty darn good. Oh, hey, Limitless Combo brings up a great point. Bring up One Harmony to this list. They have sharding and are EVM compatible. Great price action. Excellent point. I did not have it here. Let me add it right here live and let's see. All right, sweet. It's on the list. I will not put an entry in for tonight, but we will have one before our next live stream. Just know, thank you for that feedback, guys. And it's hopefully that's evidence. I love it when you bring something great like that to the conversation, and I try to respond in kind. So it's there on the list. and we will follow up with that, just like we're going to follow up with those new wrap Bitcoin representations. It's looking good, though. It's looking really, really good. Almost $3.5 billion market cap right there, a little over $3.5 billion market cap at 33 cents per coin. It may have some headroom there, guys. It just might. Tessin Jaffer is asking about my thoughts on cake. Jesse says, here because of Wendy. That is awesome, guys. Huge shout out to Crypto Wendy O, who's just been like such a generous person and just so thoughtful and having me on her channel and having some great conversations over there. If you're not subbed to her channel, you're going to find some great stuff over there as well. I would definitely recommend subbing to her. And if you're not subbed here, why not? It's free. Go ahead, hit the sub button. It's worth it. Wait, hold on. Don't just hit it. Make it explode. All right. Was that too much? I can never tell. All right. So guys, moving on from this side of the portfolio. Can't wait to get that Harmony 1 entry added later on. Let's go to our automated liquidity side of the portfolio. This is where we see some really cool moonshots, and it's where I wanted to be able to add the my Gem Hunter find for tonight, but it's not listed on CoinGecko, and it's not listed on CoinMarketCap, and it's already somewhat established on a couple of other chains, but it's already not listed on these portfolio tracking sites. So you figure that one out. All right, here guys on the automated liquidity. We got Hex at the top of the list. Performs quite well, right? It's got those fundamentals. But here's Shiba Inu, which also has phenomenal meme power, right? It's up quite nicely over the last 7 days. Nemesis is in the chat saying, yo, what's up, you happy hashers? It is so good to see Nem in the chat, guys. Give him a thumbs up. Say hello to Nem if you would. He is an OG, and we love him dearly here. Awesome dude, and we'll toe the line for Bitcoin and have your back too. So great that he's here with us tonight. Guys, Shiba Inu is doing its thing, right? Memes just don't like to die, but let's be real. Take a close look at that price right there. We're looking at a dollar value that is denominated in Satoshis, right? If dollars had Satoshis, this would be 4,100 dollar Toshis, right? Centoshis, right? Like that's what it would be. US dollar Centoshis. That's what it's looking like right there. US dollars don't even go that low. If we looked at its actual Bitcoin price, right? If we tried to figure that out. Ooh, Alex, casting shade. But if we looked at this price right here, it is a sub-Satoshi coin, right? It cannot even be denominated in Satoshis. It cannot even be denominated in Bitcoin. If you tried to buy this on exchange and you tried to buy it in exchange for Bitcoin, you'd get wrecked because you couldn't get the right denomination to buy the correct amount. Now, I mean, they will do the calculations for you and all that. Just saying. It used to be true that if it was less than a Satoshi, you had to use like Doge to buy it or Litecoin to buy it or some other coins. As it is right now, it's a much smaller denomination of Ethereum, which actually has more decimal places than Bitcoin typically, or many of the tokens there, support lower denominations, but still, it's just this teeny tiny amount of value. Just be aware and I've said this before, be aware as far as the potential upside for Shiba Inu to run up. Anybody who's telling you that Shiba Inu will go to $1 is full of it. Anybody who's telling you that Shiba Inu will go to 1 cent is smoking something. Anybody who tells you that Shiba Inu will even get to 1/10 of a cent doesn't understand basic math. It's really that simple, guys. If it did 10x right now, let's just say right here, see these 3 zeros and a 4. If all these numbers shifted over by 1 decimal place, that would put the market cap at $210 billion. No, Uncle Seth is here to tell you no, because your mom and dad clearly did not teach you, right? The answer to that is no. You don't get $210 billion for a meme coin like Shiba Inu. You don't. That's just not a reality. So if you know somebody who's holding out for those price targets, tell them to temper their expectations, take their profits, and GTFO. Like really, that's the messaging they need to hear from you. If there's somebody who trusts you, friends don't let friends get wrecked waiting for a $210 billion market cap to materialize out of nowhere. It's just not happening, guys. Not happening. Alex Burton is now saying incantations in the chat to invoke some kind of dark magic to make it happen. So I guess maybe everything I said was like totally bogus. Like, try to find that magic 8-ball. I'll shake it up and see if maybe anything I just said made any sense at all. But I'm not seeing it, guys. I'm not seeing $210 billion Shiba Inu market cap. Just saying. Funny thing is, Nemesis, like you're saying, Doge to $1. Let's jump back a little bit here, guys. Doge to $1 could almost happen. Let's look at the total market cap on Doge. I'm going to open up that side of the portfolio in the background in another tab while we look here. Bottom of the list for this one is still QuickSwap and Dragon's Quick. They're low, but again, they launched much higher. Chump Change is in the house, and he had the wife and kiddos, right? Pocket Change and dollar. What is it? I think you guys might have a Susan B. Anthony, right? It's not even like nickel and dime. I always say nickel and dime. That's not appropriate. It's inappropriate and it's rude. I'm pretty sure that one of your children is a Susan B. Anthony dollar coin, and the other one might be a pre-1964 silver dime. So, I mean, just saying, quality. So, guys, back on this list, D-Quick, it's there. Guys, it's there. It's there, still doing quite well. I hold some, just disclosure, I hold some QuickSwap because I like to use and stake on their platform. So for it to crawl sideways, for me, is a bonus. If it goes up, great, that's gravy, but it's not going down that much. So being able to use it in liquidity provider pairs is very, very helpful, very, very useful. Moving on up, somebody asked about Pancake Swap earlier on. I apologize, don't remember who it was that asked. I said, hey, what do you think about Cake? I think it's doing okay, but it's barely breaking even. That's actually our break-even point. Even Uniswap has not returned to the paper trade that we did back on May 26th, guys. And that's a problem, right? Uniswap is a beautiful protocol, but that's just it. It's kind of like saying, like, you know what? We should really make an Apache coin. We should really make a Linux kernel coin. It's an open source protocol, guys. Open source that people will just fork and use for free elsewhere. So while you might like the front end, while you might like the service that they give, the protocol itself is free, as in Libre. Free as in beer. Free as in speech, not free as in beer, right? Like, you can do with it what you want. You can say what you want. You can accept the consequences. It's not like one and done. Like, you get this one freebie. Oh, cool. Right? So, old school open source terminology there, guys. I didn't make it up, but I'll keep saying it. Uniswap, though, is the sort of like the line right there. Everything else is above, is in the profit. Thorchain, great to see Rune up back into the profit. And then, yeah, everything else, as you see, it's pretty straightforward. All right, guys, back in our ASIC portfolio, it was mentioned by Nemesis about dollar Doge. And yeah, I think that is kind of a little bit of an issue, thinking that it's going to work just perfectly, right? So, and let's see here. Dogecoin, yep. Dogecoin is right now, yeah, I think you're not wrong. $34 billion market cap, right on the edge of $35 billion. Greg Moravec is in the chat. Thanks for letting us know about Flux. We just took a look at that. It was awesome seeing it pump. It's since retraced. We looked at our charts earlier on, and I think it was worth keeping on the portfolio, guys. And people who say like, oh, diversification means you lack conviction. Sure, but your project doesn't do what that project does. And that project doesn't do what, the other project does. It's not about conviction. It's about wanting to try to catch them all. This is Pokemon, bro. Like, really, there are a lot of good cryptos out there. Why would you limit yourself to just one? That's insane to me. Anyway, but yeah, Dogecoin, looking at that full market cap at about $35 billion, even if it did triple right now, if it were able to triple, that would put it at almost $100 billion, which is just like, it's just a lot of carrying capacity for a meme coin, right? The difference being, I think, that it's not a token running on Ethereum. It is its own sovereign blockchain, blockchain that does have a lot of similarities to Litecoin, and that you can run transactions on it in relatively high volumes with relatively low fees. And that being the case, some people actually do like using Dogecoin as payment. And I don't blame them, right? Litecoin used to be great in that way too. But you look at Litecoin, $13.5 billion. I think there's probably a bigger likelihood of Litecoin crossing $400 per coin than there is a likelihood of Dogecoin crossing $70 billion. And then, having the result be that it is worth over 50 cents for a sustained period of time. That's my sense on the matter. That's my feeling on the matter, is that Litecoin has probably more ability, because everything that Dogecoin does, Litecoin did first, and Dogecoin forked. And then there's also slightly more sound economics and tokenomics to Litecoin personally. But memes being what they are, and celebrities doing what they do, Dogecoin might continue to be manipulated by characters like Elon Musk. So who knows? But I think using the same logic as we did on Shiba Inu, seeing a $200 billion market cap, like a 6x above from what it is here, $1.50 in Dogecoin, I just don't see that. I really don't see that. Plus, it doesn't have a fixed emission, so it can't maintain that for a super long period of time. Nemesis asks a very important public policy question, says, what's your thoughts on the taxing of unrealized gains from the Fed? I think that Janet Yellen probably means well, but I think also that she, like so many other politicians, are scared out of their minds right now. I think they have no idea what's going to happen as we hurl towards hyperinflation, not just inflation, and hyper debasement of our money, which they are directly responsible for from printing so much at the Fed, right? The stimulus packages, the nonstop money printing, not only here in the United States, but in other countries throughout the world, right, that have been emboldened by the United States actions. It's the perfect storm, right? It's the perfect storm for us to start seeing fiat currency as, like every fiat currency, as the Zimbabwe dollar, right? So I think we do have a problem there, and it's brewing, and it's getting ready to boil over. And, we're all very close to this, right? Who here doesn't touch fiat money, fiat currency? Most of us do. So I think it's a problem for everybody. For them to say they want to tax unrealized gains is a huge tell that they are scared out of their minds. They have no idea how they're going to make sense of their own tax policies with a currency that they have devalued. I think that's what's going on right now. I think personally, it bodes very ill. But I don't want to get too political about this, guys. I can get really fiery about that. And this would also merit an entirely different video, I think. But just to touch on that very, very briefly, I think it's very bad policy. And frankly, I want to say that it's been proven in more ways than one that it's very likely thoroughly unconstitutional. It's consent of the governed, right? So consent of the governed by the consent of the governed. So yeah, there's a little bit of an issue there. If we decide no, we don't like the idea of you characterizing this as being for rich people. Well, I mean, that's what you did back in 1913 when the federal income tax was first rolled out, but don't worry, it's just for the rich people. It's not for everybody. Federal income tax won't be for everybody. Over 100 years later, that was an effing lie, right? And we need to come to expect this, that there's nothing more permanent, there's nothing more damaging and permanent than a temporary government plan. We have to fight things like this in the legal way, right? In the legal sense, we have to fight. We have to dig in. We got to make those phone calls, make our voices heard. I think that's the only reasonable response, right? It's the only rational response is to stand up to tyranny like this, right? If you were bullied by somebody on the schoolyard and you punched him in the nose once, it ended, right? So we have to do the civil and the civilly disobedient equivalent of that today, right? We have to call. We have to call. We have to make our voices heard. Email, call, don't stop. Keep on doing it. Just like how we did that call to senators about the infrastructure bill on this channel. So yeah, if I'm going to get political, we're probably going to go that route. Actionable stuff that we can, steps that we can take instead of just wringing our hands and talking about it on crypto Twitter and on YouTube and Instagram and stuff. Because I mean, I get it. It's good for us to discuss it, but I think it's like anything else. It's most helpful for us to discuss it in a way that helps us all have a game plan that we can run together, right? So yeah, I think that's what we need to do. Set up a playbook and say, all right, how do we call for maximum effectiveness when we see stuff like this? How do we make our voices heard together? And yes, this is the first step, but I would not want it to end here. So Nem, thanks for bringing that up, man. You are a gem. You're a diamond in the rough. So yeah, we gotta figure out how we get ahead of it, how we let them know that we will definitely not accept this quietly. We will not go silently into the night at all. No way. Middle America has been too damaged. Middle class America been too damaged, and yeah, it's the dream was sold to us as kids, it's feeling more and more distant, right? So they need to know that we won't just take this. All right, so that's our portfolio for tonight, guys. I wanted to bring a gem to you. This is kind of end. I'm going to kind of like be sort of the capstone. And normally I do some crypto news. I'm going to keep that off of the agenda for tonight. And I want to briefly introduce you to something. I'm going to do a deeper dive later on this week, but I wanted you to see something that that has hit my desk and that I'm actually really excited about. I don't always get excited, but I'm kind of excited about this. I think it's a great Gem Hunter addition to the show. So stay tuned. If you hate Gem Hunter content, then obviously you can just like hit the thumbs down and bounce, whatever, right? But if you like Gem Hunter content, you want to see something that's really cool, I actually have something for you. And we are right in time for you guys to do something about it. It's not like late. So Alex Burton, sudo apt get freedom. Yeah, sudo apt get update freedom, right? Upgrade. So here we are on SheeshaFinance.io. SheeshaFinance.io. This is a brand new platform, or relatively new platform, and I have loved everything that I'm finding out about this. The founding team is kind of what got me the most excited about it. I mean, I don't want to like bore you to tears by reading off the screen or anything. I also have links down in the description of this video so you can see it. And I did mark this video as sponsored, but the reality is at the time of this live stream, I haven't been given anything, whether it's, material or opportunity to participate in a pre-sale or anything like that. That has not actually happened yet. No transactions have happened or anything like that. So just so you're aware, I did that preemptively because I do anticipate at some point in the future having that kind of a relationship. But I just want you guys to know, I try to be as straightforward about this stuff as possible. Also, when it comes to things like this, we're going to talk about some mitigating factors and some risk mitigation factors you can take when you're looking at new projects. But this guy, you might be saying like, why are we looking at this guy? Well, this guy, Saeed Harib al-Darmaki, is one of the biggest players in crypto that if you don't know, you should. Definitely instrumental in bringing crypto to the United Arab Emirates. Why does that matter? Because when you take crypto to the United Arab Emirates, you wind up finding people who are from multi-generational oil families who say, you know what? Oil is freaking boring. We want crypto. We want to develop projects. We want to build on top of things. We want to make permissionless wallets. We want to make privacy-oriented wallets. We want to do the Lightning Network. We want to see remittances done. We don't need it, but that's interesting. And we're wealthy, we have time, and we're highly intelligent people, and we can make a difference here. So the United Arab Emirates is an extremely important target for getting people involved in cryptocurrencies. And Saeed has been very, very instrumental in doing that. He is top on that who's who, right, guys? So yeah, definitely top on that who's who. Oh, guys, yeah, sudo. Sudo is important. Sudo is important. It's temporary super user. Yeah, temporary super user permission. But yeah, the chat is blowing up, guys. This is great. I love seeing Linux talk in the chat. It's awesome. We have some phenomenal team members down here below that are listed. I've personally had a great conversation with Maximilian Johnson, a professional researcher in crypto investments from many, many years ago. And we had a pretty solid deep dive about this project, guys. I mean, again, like it's not often that I have this level of conviction for some of this stuff. And yeah, some of this project has me more excited than many others that I've covered in recent history. But the investment team is also really solid. If you don't know Hartej is somebody who's been on Crypto's News, right? So Omar Bam's channel and many, many others. I've seen a lot more of his work than some of the others as well. Michael Turpin, definitely somebody who is on that who's who list within cryptocurrencies. And this is no disrespect to anybody else, but these are some of the people who I'm more familiar with their work. Just to say that there were a ton of really smart advisors who all wanted in, and they wanted in because of what this platform does. So yeah, begs the question, what does it actually do? Well, it's something of a joint crypto fund. So what is a joint crypto fund? It's almost like a VC fund. So buying their token then gives you access to all of their portfolio projects. What does that mean? Couldn't you just buy the portfolio projects on your own? Well, yeah, you could, but holding their token gives you exclusive airdrops. Case in point, if you were interested in Splinterlands, right? Doing phenomenal NFT gaming, pay to play or play to earn gaming. If you're familiar with any of the crypto gaming operations, Splinterlands is pretty high on that list, right? It's fun gameplay. People are actually earning money from it. There were some people who like totally quit their jobs internationally because they started working in working as professional gamers, professional crypto gamers in Splinterlands. That actually happened this market cycle. And it's one of those crazy things that stops and makes you think, like, what have I been doing all my life if not earning free crypto by playing video games? Don't think about it too long. It'll make you depressed. Anyway, I'm just saying, Doom didn't do that for me when I was a kid. I wish it did. That would be dope, right? Like Hungry AF. That would have been me on playing Doom all day and designing custom levels back in the day. But it wasn't available yet, right? That we just were not forward thinking enough yet. PGP was barely invented back then. So yeah, that's available now. But that's just one of the many portfolio projects that they have. They're available on PancakeSwap and they're available on Uniswap. Now, why would they be available on both those platforms? This is some deep dive info that I don't think you're going to find on some other channels that are covering this particular video or this particular project. Now, whether I chop this video out of tonight's content and then throw it into a new video or not sure yet. But we'll see. The point is that they're a full fund. They don't just sponsor play to earn NFT gaming, but various other projects that have strong fundamentals. But again, I digress. Back to that question. Why do they have tokens available on two platforms? Let me show you the back end of the platforms. Very few people are actually showing this when they're covering this project. Well, here they are on PancakeSwap. First off, we don't have that full price history inside of PancakeSwap. It is not giving us very rich data, unfortunately. But the current price is what it is, right? Hovering around that $140 mark per each. And then it's apparently only pooled with wrapped Binance coin on PancakeSwap. And here's the contract address on BSC scan, at least for the Binance token, right? The BEP20 version of this coin. And let's see, token tracker, get over here. Token tracker is going to show us more about the fundamentals. 99,999 plus dust, right? See that? One that was partially destroyed to make sure there's always 99,999. At this point, only shared between so many addresses, fewer than 1,000. So there are a lot there. But you run the numbers, guys. You run the math if you want to. You know what? I'm the guy streaming. Why don't I go ahead and do that? Bring this calculator up. Let's go with 99,999,000, and we will multiply that by 142 current price. That gives us a market cap of around 14 million. But that's only for the Binance Smart Chain side, right? We've got that between 651 addresses. So while we're here, let's go to 651. That means the average holder of this token is currently sitting on a little over $21,000. So the rich list, if you were to go to the median, means that everybody holding the token at all is doing pretty well, especially if they got in lower than that. But even if they didn't get in lower than that, they're holding this token and they also got airdrops from Splinterlands and all of the other portfolio projects that are available on BSC. They have two networks that they support right now, because if you hold the BSC token, then your wallet will be airdropped any of the dividends or any of the custom airdrops from their portfolio projects that are on BSC. And if you hold the Ethereum token, then you will be airdropped any custom gifts, NFTs, additional tokens, or any other value-added tokens that come from their portfolio companies on Ethereum. Makes sense, right? You'd want to keep like with kind, right? If it's a Binance Smart Chain native token, you'd want your Binance Smart Chain portfolio projects to airdrop their Binance Smart Chain native tokens to those wallet addresses. And same with Ethereum. You'd want to keep them segmented. You would not want to bridge over. It would just be too much of a mess and a lot of wasted gas fees, as well as a lot of wasted time. So I saw that and was like, oh my gosh, this actually makes sense. Like, people talk about doing this sort of thing, but what they really mean is give us all your tether or whatever, and we're going to go try to buy a bunch of other coins, and then we'll just invest for you. It'll be, we'll trust us. We're going to be good. Well, the founding team didn't really need people's investment capital to get started. They could have gotten started entirely on their own. So yeah, I like that they didn't necessarily need additional capital. But over on Uniswap as well, this token's history is available only on Uniswap v2. Doesn't have artwork. And then on Etherscan, you can see again, 99,998 and change. Clearly, there's been some that were burned. And we see that it is active, right, on Uniswap v2, right? Only on Uniswap v2. But on the Uniswap info page, again, we see that its price is independent. See that? It's independent of the BSC price. Why would it be independent? Well, it basically governs an entirely different portfolio, as mentioned before, right? Like it's not going to give you access to any of the portfolio companies or any of the portfolio projects that are available on Binance Smart Chain, only on Ethereum. So yeah. Greg is asking in the chat, is BSC also a merge mineable token? It is not. BSC is a proof of stake governance token or governance platform. Rather, I got a little ahead of myself. BNB is the token that is used for utility on Binance Smart Chain. So BSC just refers to Binance Smart Chain, and then BNB is what's used for gas on Binance Smart Chain. And that's all it does. It's not a mineable currency. It is a proof of stake network. But they've got this available on both networks. Some people really like that platform. Total liquidity clearly is in the millions, but the last 24 hours, only so much volume with far fewer exchanges right now, right? So on Ethereum, that's kind of the danger of being on Ethereum, guys, is that those gas fees wind up scaring people away. Now, why am I bringing this project up? Clearly, those 99,999 or 998 on Ethereum coins have already been issued. They were immediately minted, and then the supply is fixed, right? It's capped on both of those networks. And so where do you go with that? You have to find somebody who's willing to buy, or you have to look at liquidity pools. You have to look for, really good liquidity pooling. And I apologize. Also, I was looking at the pairs here for those stats, but Sheesha ETH. The other transactions actually are coming in a bit faster, but not quite as much as you hope. BSC, because of low fees, is pushing it through a lot more. Only a few per day, right, on Ethereum because of those really high fees. Limitless Combo is asking, arbitrage with bridging? No, that's just it. There is no direct bridge. There really isn't. So these are not meant to be bridged. They are actually separate mints, separate smart contracts with separate mints. Christian Bulmer is in the chat saying, indeed a gem, Seth. I think so, guys. I think we're onto something. But I wanted to bring this to you now because right now they're gearing up to do an additional 999,999 of this token specific to Polygon network. So Polygon native applications, Polygon native NFT projects, Polygon native play to earn projects. Everything that's happening on Polygon is going to be available to Sheesha token holders when they get in on this latest round of Sheesha token being minted exclusively for Polygon, because this is a new portfolio for them and it's a brand new tranche of investment. And I mean, I know from having interacted with their chief researcher and with some of their team that they have support directly from the Polygon Foundation, directly from the Polygon founders. They have support directly with QuickSwap to be able to swap this token and have liquidity and provide liquidity directly on the largest fork of Uniswap for Polygon. It is a pretty big deal, guys. I don't want to oversell, or overstate how big a deal I think it is, but we'll just take a look at some of the Polygon stats here over on polygonscan.com. These are the unique addresses on Polygon Scan right now. And you see, guys, in the last year, from June of last year, clear up to June of this year, the daily increases, right, of unique addresses started to pop off, right? Almost about the same time that we made our portfolio. See that? There's May 26th. There's the date that we made our portfolio here on this show. And what happened since then? Well, as you can see, a massive run up. It more than doubled. And then it 10x'd, and then it 20x'd, and here we are now, starting to round off an S-curve adoption. See that? We're just starting to level off barely just now in October, but we're not done. The curve is just less aggressive for adoption, right? It can't go straight up forever, right? But it's just becoming less aggressive in terms of the adoption curve. And that's just one of our charts showing how much adoption Polygon has gotten. So for a project like this to ignore Polygon is insane. And you guys have heard me say since May 26th that I've been like on the fence, kind of went back and forth with Polygon. You heard me today. You heard me over the last several weeks just say, like, in my experience personally right now, Polygon is Ethereum. Full stop. That's how I interact with Ethereum most frequently, is on Polygon. Now, there are exceptions, of course, but generally speaking, the moment that I can congregate my gains from any Ethereum-based activities that I'm doing and then bridge them over to Polygon, I do. Like, they've won me over. Things aren't breaking. They're not having to restart their validator network. They're not having to talk about how there are issues, right? So, yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this, guys. Yep, Sheesha AF, right? Yeah. Oh, that's a t-shirt, isn't it? I think it is. Sheesha AF. But Limitless Combo says Sheesha, and Greg asks, does anyone have a link listing all the play to earn games by chance? Actually, there is one, and I need to talk about that on another video as well. Guys, this is what I'm talking about. Got to publish more frequently, which means I've got to go earlier in the day. Tonight, I probably need to call it a day right now, but tell me, with Sheesha Finance, are you as excited as I am? I'm not seeing fool's gold, am I? I don't think I am. I think I'm seeing a project that already has a track record on 2 networks, no less, showing that they can succeed, they can rinse and repeat. And now they're rinsing and they're telling us in advance, we're targeting Polygon, where we know we're going to have low fees. And we know that our gains, if we want to take gains, if we want to take profits, we can quickly bridge them back over natively to the Ethereum main chain, permissionlessly. I'm really enjoying the thought experiment here of like, okay, what are the possibilities? And I want to try to get that list of potential collaborations and projects for Sheesha Finance on Polygon to bring back in a dedicated deep dive video, guys. I don't think I've done it like really justice here. I wanted to give you kind of a brief introduction. Maybe before we close out this segment, I want to very briefly show you right here the partner list. And Alex, to answer your question, links are in the description as always, guys. Got links directly to the main project page. I've got links directly to the Pancake Swap and the Uniswap pages, so you can take a look at the smart contracts and the price performance of these projects for yourself. Guys, knowledge is power. That's what I'm here to share, right? Fire to the people, power to the people, right? You guys need to make the best possible decisions, and you can definitely do that by learning on your own. But some of these projects so far, some of these partners so far, Splinterlands, DeFi, Zignali, Marhaba, Royale, TerraBlock, Kanumo, DeFi 11. And then some of the other partnerships, right? We've got NFT artists that are giving exclusives just to this project. Have you ever heard of Visa? I think you will. I think you will in the near future if you haven't already. World famous artist, digital art pioneer who's gotten all in on NFTs. So this is not your cheap generative junk art that's 10,000 new variations of an NFT that you're like, oh my gosh, why does everything look vaguely familiar? This is a legitimate digital artist who's been doing this since before cryptocurrencies and even Bitcoin existed. So it's, well, not quite Bitcoin. Not quite. Think about the same time. So yeah. Well, Alex, if you're looking for this to be active on the Uniswap list, guys, it will not be active on V3. It'll be active on V2. So you have to find it on Uniswap V2. Guys, I'm excited about this one. They're almost launching. Do your due diligence, right? This is not me inducing anyone to buy anything or telling you have to do anything. I'm just excited. I want exposure to this project. I want as much exposure as I can get to this project. And not so that I can flip a quick profit, but because I want to see what the long-term benefits are going to be. I want to see what the airdrops are going to be. I want to see what all the value adds are going to amount to, right? Like over the next month or two, as we get towards the end of this bull run, I want to be able to see okay, what is this project really doing? for holders. So expect more follow-up content, guys. Appreciate you being tuned in to the end of this video, hitting that thumbs up, obviously making the subscribe button explode in slow motion. Oh, and smashing the bell icon so that you're notified when new videos come out. Guys, you're the reason to make this media. You know I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Be sure to check out mineyourbiz, where you can sign up for our email newsletter, where we're still ramping up content, but you will occasionally receive specials for flash sales and all kinds of other deals that we have going on the site. You can also check out our services page, where we offer consulting to projects that need it. You can pick up the Freedom Phone, which respects your privacy. You can pay for it in crypto and have it shipped to you anonymously, as well as getting merchandise that also is paid for with crypto. That's right, we practice what we preach, including, well, a Flux swag page. That's right. It's a dedicated page just for the team over at Flux Network, because we love them that much. Thanks for watching to the end. Thanks for being subscribed. You know I love your face. Be sure to stay private and mind your biz.